Good morning. Happy Friday. We're having a morning. We're having a nice little live stream this morning for procrastination. My dog is here. He is skedaddling around and playing with his toys. So I'm so sorry if you could hear that, because as soon as he heard my voice, he had to come and see what was going on, because of course he did. So, hello, I have coffee. I hope you do. I'm going to sip some coffee. I'm going to go over this week we're talking about procrastination. So, if it's your first time here, hi, how are you? I'm Terrell. This is Absolutely Studying. I chat about study tips, organizational hacks, and goal setting to keep you on track. So today we are also going to talk about procrastination, top 10 reasons why you're procrastinating. And we're also going to chat about how to finally stop the cycle. So we'll go over some different ways that you can actually stop the cycle of procrastination when you realize you're in it. So I'm going to just share my screen and we're just going to jump in. We don't even have to go through a whole long drawn out chat this morning. So here we go. The top 10 reasons you are procrastinating and how to finally stop the cycle. I am in a way this morning. It is the Fridayest of Fridays, let me tell you. Procrastination is a curse that haunts us all. It strikes when we least expect it and completely cripples not only our productivity, but our ability to keep up with all of our obligations. Sorry, side note, replay crew, love you. All of the links throughout the video are going to be down in the description. Also, the link to this article will be found down in the description so that you can go back, check it out for yourself, check all of the links within it, and anything we talk about in specific will also be linked down there in the article or the show or in the description or the show notes. Procrastination is a curse that haunts us all. It strikes when we least expect it and completely cripples not only our productivity, but our ability to keep up with all of our obligations. Are we comfortable? Yeah. There's a popular myth that a lack of self-discipline is the cause of procrastination. This is not an option that I agree with. This is not an opinion that I agree with. People don't procrastinate just because they're lazy. There are so many factors that go into your motivation level that this generalization can be harmful. So then, why do we procrastinate? What is literally holding us down? It's not always something as simple as just get up and go do what you have to do. Just get up and go do what you have to do. Sometimes, as much as we want to, and as disciplined as we are, we just can't get started. Today, we're going to count down the top 10 reasons why you are procrastinating. Then we'll discuss what causes these bouts and why it's so hard to get to work. Don't worry. We'll even offer some suggestions to get you back on track to your regularly productive self. Procrastination is that feeling of or lack of Procrastination is that feeling of disinterest or lack of motivation. It's when you know you need to get up and tackle that looming to-do list, but you just can't get out of bed. You don't know, you know you need to get started, but for some reason, you just can't seem to be able to work up the will. You just can't seem to be able to work up the will. This is not an This is not an all or nothing kind of mood. It can just be, hold on one second. I need to fix that. How did that word get in there? Do. This is not an all or nothing kind of mood. It can be a spectrum. Your procrastination level can be caused by many factors. Everything from diet, physical activity, depression, stress, and even ADHD can influence your motivation. While being mindful of your habits can help, small steps towards making progress can be incredibly motivating when you are crippled by procrastination. So 10 reasons why you're procrastinating. Now we're going to jump right in and discuss some different things that trigger procrastination and some ways to get out of it. If you have triggers that you are familiar with, by all means, pop down into the comments and let me know if these ring true to you. Otherwise, if you have other things, other triggers that make you procrastinate, things that make you feel like you're just done for the day and you're ready to go pop in bed and lay around, or that you just don't want to get started, let me know so we can add them to the list and help some people. Many triggers, words. Today is a word day. Today is a day where words are just going to be hard. Words are going to be hard today. Many triggers lead to procrastination. These 10 cover the most popular reasons. Identifying what led to your motivation loss can help you stay vigilant of these traps. This way, you can avoid them before they drag you down. So, number 1, I suck at making decisions and I can never stick to a plan. You're standing in the cereal aisle. You can't make a decision. Lucky Charms or Fruit Loops? Lucky Charms has marshmallows, but the O is so tasty with Fruit Loops. But every O is tasty with Fruit Loops. Besides, we both know you're just going to pick out all the marshmallows anyway. You can stand there staring and staring. You stand there staring and staring, paralyzed, unable to move. Is this you? Is this you? Does it sound familiar at all? Or are you at the other extreme where you make decisions quickly, but then you get home and immediately second guess yourself? Self-doubt comes rushing in, and all you can think of is that you made the wrong choice. While working on an assignment, you might scrap all the progress you've made just to restart again at the last minute, simply because you don't like the strategy you started with. A lot of people struggle with making decisions. The most important thing to remember is to trust yourself. You must trust your original vision and plan. You have to be kind enough not to do yourself a disservice by undermining all the progress you've made. Don't abandon your original plan in favor of cramming an entire project into too little time. Trust the strategy you've already committed to. Trust the strategy you've already committed to. This form of procrastination is sneaky because it's thinly veiled as productive. You're starting projects, but just struggling with the steps. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Progress is not made if you constantly start over and second guess yourself. You're burning energy with no real headway to show for it. Stick your plan through to completion. Trust me, you'll feel much better once it's finished. I constantly make excuses and I lie to myself. If we wanted to, we could justify just about anything. This is dangerous and often gets us into a lot of trouble. Not starting that project until its due date next week. Oh, I'm so sorry. Not starting that project that's due next week today because we work better under pressure is a bold-faced lie. is the bold-faced lie we tell ourselves daily. This, well, some people may definitely be able to make the best of a stressful situation. That same person would undoubtedly flourish given the time to prepare and implement a strategy correctly. You have to be honest with yourself. Putting this project off when you have the extra time to complete it will stress you out and overextend your efforts. Putting it off is just going to cause you to rush, take shortcuts, and possibly overlook mistakes. This will eventually cause you to feel guilty for pushing yourself through this unnecessary and unwanted stress. No one does such a great job under pressure that it justifies not starting now. With all that extra time, you can really sit down and break the project down into simple steps that allow you to gracefully and thoroughly complete it over an extended timeline. Stop procrastinating and make a simple list of everything you need to do to complete this assignment. Then start plugging away at these simple steps until you see enough progress to get real motivation. So that's the thing with procrastination versus motivation and getting motivated to start projects. Motivation, so many people feel like they have to be motivated before they start, but motivation comes from seeing progress. You don't get motivated to finish until you can get excited about making progress or starting progress. And that can be sparked from anywhere from creating the list of steps that you need to create your project to actually going through and having that idea and getting excited about the idea to be finished. So you need to be able to see the project through to completion. You have to be able to see the way through to finishing and completing and getting that great mark in order to get motivated from any singular step in the project process. There might be some classes that you love working on. There might be some classes that you love working on or love doing, and that's usually because you feel comfortable with the material, you enjoy the material, but for a lot of classes, it's from seeing the progress move forward. So one of the simplest ways to get that first little spark of motivation is simply sitting down and writing out all of the steps it takes to complete the project. I do have an article about how to break down a big assignment or project into simple steps and how you can get a great mark off of that. So I'm going to link that down into the description. I'm going to put that down into the description because that's one of those things that it's going to be really helpful to be able to have a clear path to victory, have a clear path to finishing the project so that you can actually start working away at these little steps. And usually if you can't get motivated to work on something big, you can actually you can even write that list in bed. You can get motivated to do that simple step. And once you see all of the steps that you have to do, you can just start working on them one at a time, not even necessarily in order, just so that you can get started, so you can start making progress, so you can see I'm halfway done. Let's just finish this. And usually that's much easier to get motivated to work on one or two little steps that only take 15 or 20 minutes than it does to work on a big project. I am going to, hold on one second. I'm just going to let my puppy out of the room because he just is pacing and chasing things around and just can't get comfortable. There we go. He was doing that. He was doing the old scratch the ground and huff and puff. Okay, next. I have low self-confidence. Sometimes we put things off because we don't believe in our ability to do them. I'll never I'll never understand anything so complicated. I'm struggling with the coursework or I have trouble with essays. Lacking self-confidence is something that we all struggle with. It's hard to feel good about yourself every day, but it's deeper for that than for some. But it's deeper than that for some people. Some of us never seem to believe in ourselves. The best cure for lacking self-confidence is the best cure for lacking self-confidence has something to show for your the best cure for lacking self-confidence is to have something to show for your efforts. Having something tangible that you can review and show other people will boost your spirits and help you believe in your ability to see things through. Remember, no one expects you to be fantastic at something on your first try. You have to practice at it. If you start now, even if your first draft is less than stellar, you have time to review, revise, and edit it over and over until it is exactly right. You can do this until you're proud of your work. Repeat this process until it is everything you want it to be. Repeat this process until it's everything you want it to be. The only thing standing between you and the product you want is starting today. Also, never compare your skills to those of your friends. The grass is always going to be greener on the other side of the fence. Writing or drawing might seem incredibly easy to someone else, but I can assure you that there are hours and hours of practice behind it. Everyone has a talent. Everyone has a talent. You have gifts. Everyone has a talent, and you have gifts that others could only wish for. That's the thing is that there's so many times when people look at their friends and everything seems to come so easy, but what you're missing is the whole iceberg underneath the water. You're just seeing a little glimpse of their life, and you're not seeing the hundreds of hours of practice that was put in leading up to getting that skill. And some people do have things that just come more naturally to them. And usually those things people are more inclined to do. Like if drawing does come more naturally to a person, then they're more likely to enjoy it and put more and more and more effort into perfecting it. Thus, they get better and better and better at it. So even though they were kind of good at it initially, it's still the hours of repetition that make that perfection. A lot of times people are like, I'm not good at anything, or I can't, it's just that, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And oftentimes it's just that they have not found what they are great at, or they just not have found what they love, or they have not found a way to show or demonstrate or communicate or put out there how their talents are great. Some people are great at reading, and reading comes naturally. They're fast readers, they understand so well, but how do you demonstrate that skill on a larger scale, and how do you make that skill comparable to something that's so visual as drawing, or so being charismatic or anything like that? You can't necessarily do that. And so sometimes your strengths are hidden, but everybody has these talents, everybody has their strengths, and the hard part is just identifying what yours is and finding a way to make it work best for you. And that leads right into our next thing, or our next comment, where everything must be perfect. Yeah. Everything must be perfect. All too often, we expect perfection from ourselves, even though we know that our standards are near impossible for others to live up to. We somehow believe that we can attain them. This is frequently caused by the absolute perfect aesthetics that we are subjected to constantly on social media. With their immaculately sterile homes and perfect GPAs, these perfectly manicured models are the facade that everyone puts up. The truth is that all of us struggle. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a Monday where the best they can do is sweatpants and a toque. Every person has to study to get the grades they want for themselves. No amount of stationery or windblown sunsets can change that. Many times you must remind yourself of this. You can't live this perfect lie every day. If you can't expect, some people are tongue-tied like me. This morning is a tongue-tied morning. I am like halfway through my coffee. I have just a little tiny coffee today. I am halfway through my coffee today, and I am still tongue-tied. And this is just the day that I'm having. This is just the best I can do right now. And I'm going to have to be okay with that. What I will probably try and do is pull this one down later, edit it within an inch of its life, re-put it up, and you won't even know about all of these stumbles that I've had throughout this entire recording process. But that's the thing that you don't see through the social media. You don't see the 45 pictures it took to get that one perfect shot. And without being able to see all of that struggle, the hours it took, the 35,000 photos it took to get that one perfect shot, you're not going to be able to really appreciate the journey. And it's going to seem like it was just every single picture, every single shot is beautiful, but it is not. Some mornings are like this. Some mornings we stumble over our words. We can't get our thoughts together. We go off on rambles, and you just gotta suit up and enjoy the ride and hope that it turns out workable in the end. Where were we? You can't live this perfect lie every day. You can't expect perfection from yourself every moment. Perfection does not exist. You'll never know. You'll never get to the final draft if you get hung up on all the imperfections in your writing style, note-taking, assignments, or lives. Edit, revise, then proofread the heck out of that assignment and turn it in. Sometimes you have to remember that you have to hand in an assignment for it to be graded. Any mark is better than the big fat zero you'll get from not handing it in at all. So this used to be me in high school, especially. I would get so hung up on the fact that I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel my writing was good enough. I didn't feel my essay was good enough. I didn't feel my homework was good enough. I didn't feel that I studied hard enough over and over and over again for absolutely everything. I had the lowest self-confidence, and I always had the most critical thinking. And so I would not hand things in. I wouldn't hand in my homework. I wouldn't hand in my assignments. I would just take like zero after zero after zero. And obviously my marks started to fall. And I couldn't understand why. Like, I did the homework. It was in my backpack. It was in my binder, but I was so scared to hand it in. I was so afraid that I would hand it in and the professor would say something, or the teacher would say something to me, or I wouldn't get a good mark on it. I'd get like a B or a C or a D, or I'd fail. So I wouldn't hand it in. And sitting here and talking about it, you can see that it doesn't make sense. There's no logic there. If you don't hand it in, you're going to get a zero. If you hand it in, you're going to get something. But I was so embarrassed and so ashamed and so insecure about the teacher even reading my work and judging it that I could not. And so I would just take these L bombs over and over and over again, and it took a really long time for me to feel comfortable enough with a teacher and even in university with a professor, to feel like I could start handing in assignments and getting that praise and getting that positive feedback before I was even willing to consider the fact that maybe, just maybe, my work was good enough and worthy enough to actually be handed in. And that took a lot of work. So if that's where you are in a place where you are ashamed of your work, or you are insecure about how your assignment is doing, or you don't feel like your assignments are good enough and you are not handing in. Did we freeze? Okay. I'm like, did we freeze? Sometimes this is life. Sometimes this is life, and this is a live program. And this is where we are. This is where we are in life now. Do I know why? No. No, I don't know why. I have no idea. Okay, so I am hoping that we didn't get cut off. I don't know why this is acting crazy. I don't know why this is my life today. But this is the day we are having. This is the stream. It's not the stream we wanted, but is the stream we got. So we are going to continue on, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, I hope that all of that was caught. I don't know if it's just the video that decided to give out, or if it was the audio as well. But I'm pushing through. I'm pushing through. I am not going to get motivated by, or I'm not going to get sidetracked by all of this. By all of this. Yeah, I'm trying to troubleshoot. It's just not working. Okay, I'm just moving on. I'm just moving on. I don't know. I would have to stop the stream to refix it. So to refix it, to try and fix it, I don't know why this is, why days are days like this. Okay, I don't understand how. Too often, assignments are handed out and students are overwhelmed by this daunting task that they say they don't understand. This leads to the project getting put to the side, where it eventually is forgotten about until the final hours. The problem here is that by the time they get around to dealing with the assignment, it's too late to ask questions about how to complete it. This leaves the students scrambling, and they will never know if they could have gotten a better mark had they understood the project better. Start early and try your best. Often, a lack of understanding is just being overwhelmed by something new. Start the project and work through it step by step. More often than not, once you start moving through the process, you will find that it is not as difficult as it originally appeared. If you find that you are still struggling after reading the instructions and working through the steps, don't be afraid to approach your professor or the TA for help or insight. But the most important thing is that you start. That's another one of the things is that usually when you do get overwhelmed and by something new, it's just breaking it down and starting the steps. Maybe you don't understand one of the later steps, but I bet you can start getting the information together. I bet you can start getting your ideas down. I bet you can start even just writing out the components of the project or the assignment or whatever it is, so that you can start getting your thoughts organized and things organized for you to start. And then as you start working through the steps it takes to complete, they start becoming more and more apparent on what it is. When you have the result from this one step, then you'll start to see how these later steps shape up and it'll start making more sense. A lot of times it's just that you're overwhelmed. It's overwhelmed by the fear of just doing something new or overwhelmed by having to take on this new project. And that is what is really creating the barrier for you to being able to understand what it is that you're doing or have to complete. So just getting started is going to really be a great motivator, because again, once you start making those steps, once you start making that progress, it's going to get easier and easier and easier to actually go through and finish everything up, actually go through and be able to do all of the steps, actually be able to finish the project, finish the homework, and figure out what those steps are that are confusing you in the first place. I don't know how to study. Unfortunately, teaching study skills is largely overlooked in high school. Many students struggle with learning and implementing these skills simply because they have never been taught. Then they flounder throughout their first years in post-secondary while trying to figure it out on their own. This can lead to a lack of confidence in their ability to prepare for exams. How can you get down to studying if you're not sure you're doing it right? Figuring out how to study early on in your educational career is vital to your success, especially in post-secondary. Many students enter college or university after never having studied a day in their lives, only to find themselves struggling shortly after enrolling. This can lead to a crisis in confidence in their ability to graduate, intelligence, and even their self-worth. This is really unfortunate because this is what's really unfortunate about this is that study skills are really easy to develop and learn. There are so many different ways to study, and once you've committed to discovering them, it's just a matter of finding out which style is right for you. We have an entire series dedicated to different ways to study. A great place to start would be by choosing a study guide. A great place to start would be choosing a study guide. This video covers many types of study guides. I'm going to link that in the description below. We also have a free study planner that to help you We also have a We also have a free study planner to help you schedule your study sessions. It comes with over 20 different study activities, suggestions on which you can track your progress. Never be intimidated to start something just because you lack the confidence to see it through. More often than not, once, more often than not, more often than not, confidence comes once you start seeing results and progress. Luckily, help is never more than a phone call, an email, or a YouTube video away. This is also a great time to plug my study skills digital course. And that's because this is a all-encompassing course. It teaches you how to get organized, how to take notes, how to develop good reading strategies. It helps you how to get caught up. It helps you. There's 5 different modules, and all of these modules are centered around creating a study strategy and a schedule and habits that help you excel in school. And it will help you make a strategy that is best for you. The enrollment in the actual digital course is always open. You can do it on your own terms. Membership is closed right now. I'll open up membership again in the new year, so watch out for that. But right now, for the study skills digital course, it is available on my website. I will link that down below, and it will help you. Here, let's take a peek. Let's just peek. Yeah, so it helps you to learn how to stay organized and productive. It helps you to find the best note-taking method that works for your learning style, designing a reading strategy to improve your understanding, and how to plan truly effective study sessions to set you up for success. So it goes over all of those. There's a ton of stuff included in this guide or in this digital course. And again, you can go through, you can do it at your own pace. You can do it in any order you choose, but the order that I put it in is obviously the most logical for me, because it gets you organized, and then it gets you with the proper note taking and the proper reading, and then it has you put everything together. So yeah, if you want to check that out, the first module is free. If you want to test it out, it has workbooks and templates and everything you need to get set up. So yeah, check that out. I will link it down in the description. Okay, next one. I never have the energy. Do you feel like you are always tired? The only thing you want to do all day is lay around in bed and think about everything that you should be doing. You might binge watch Netflix or drift in and out of naps all day long and think about, what's wrong with me? Why can I never get myself together? Why can't I just get out of bed and get things done? You might be surprised to hear that you are not alone. You'd be hard pressed to find someone who does not have these lows or depleted energy levels. What we need to figure out is this something that happens occasionally, or is this every day? If it happens only occasionally, is there a pattern to it? When you are reviewing this question, the first thing you should do is contact your doctor. A lack of energy can sometimes be a symptom of something bigger, and we would never want to ignore that. Talk to your doctor and ensure that there's nothing going on beneath the surface. Once your health has been checked out and your doctor's given you the thumbs up, then there are many ways to address this low energy. First and foremost, make sure you're getting enough sleep. I know 8 hours is often asking a lot when you're juggling so many obligations, but really try and reach this goal as much as possible. Taking in and retaining information is impossible without adequate sleep. Even going to class overtired like this is essentially useless because you're not preserving this material. Also, make sure that you are setting and sticking to the same bedtime and wake up time as much as possible. Keeping this routine strict is the best way to feel rested. Next, consider your diet. Are you eating lots of junk food? Often fast food can cause these energy spikes and free falls. Try tweaking your diet to include more energy boosting foods like whole grains, proteins, and fresh fruits and vegetables. Another track to increase your energy levels is to make it a habit to work out. This is often counterintuitive because the energy to work out is This is often counterintuitive because you need energy to work out, but working out boosts your energy levels. I'm not going to lie to you. The first few workouts are going to be tough. You're going to be sore and achy and tired, but by the end of the week, you will feel amazing. You don't have to go crazy and join a class or anything, but just try a quick yoga session at home or jog around the block to get your blood pumping until you're ready to commit to the workout lifestyle. This is something that I like to do I like to do a mixture of. So I did once upon a time, I did work out regularly, and then my schedule just got so jam-packed that I could not work out all the time. So what I started to do is I would try and mix up active chores, responsibilities, obligations with less active chores, responsibility, and obligations. And so, for example, if I had to run errands, I would try to opt for walking. So I would go for a walk and I would walk down to the store, or if it was close enough. Even if it was, as long as the walk was less than like 30 minutes, I would do the walk rather than try and drive or something like that. And that's because it's still, even though I wasn't doing a jog or doing a sweaty workout, I was still doing something that would kind of clear my thoughts, allow me to dissociate for a minute and just not do any heavy lifting. I could listen to a podcast, I could listen to music and just walk and enjoy the sun and enjoy the fresh air and still have to go and do these errands. Now, the first thing that a lot of people are going to say is, weather. I live in Canada, and I live in an area in Canada where it is snowing 8 months out of the year, and we hit like -40 regularly. And let me tell you, if you're like -40 Celsius or Fahrenheit, and I'm here to say it doesn't matter, because right around -40, the two meet. It's cold, and the wind chill is horrendous. I don't even have a word for how bad the wind chill is. And so obviously on those days, I would not go out walking, but it's about finding a balance. If it was only -5 out, I would still go for walks. I would still go and run errands. And so I would really take advantage of those days. When it was, -40 out and your skin freezes in under 2 minutes, those days I would not, but I would still find more active things to do. So maybe doing laundry on those days, just something that, even if it's not necessarily a workout where I'm doing burpees and sweating and doing all of these things, then I would still be able to go and do something that like allows my blood to pump. Even if it was cleaning the kitchen, I would do it and I would give it a good deep clean, because that's something that's very physical and it gets the blood pumping. So even if I could not commit to a workout, I would still try and do something physical. If I could find at least 10 minutes, I would go on YouTube and I would grab like a beginner's workout or a beginner's yoga session or anything like that. You can find workout sessions that are only 10 minutes long, and that stretching and that resting and that deep breathing are all going to be good until you are able to work up enough time, enough energy to have a good workout. So when I do say try and go working out, I don't mean put on the spandex and, get the old, 2 hour long sweating to the oldies video going. That's not what I mean. I mean, just try by doing simple physical activities and slowly escalate those until they become more and more physical, until you are ready to like try a little bit of something cardio, or try something where you're jogging, or try and work out something a little bit more. But it's more about the physical activity and just getting your body moving and getting that blood pumping that was going to make you feel a little bit better and going to help you get more energy. And this and stretching is also amazing. Waking up and doing a 5 or 10 minute morning yoga routine where you're just stretching and getting all of those good stretches first thing in the morning. It's second to none. And I am not a huge yoga person, but I love my morning stretches. I have no direction or vision. I should tell you. So when I stopped my big workouts, hold on one second. Let's do a little bit of a story time here. So I remember I did used to work out. I did used to work out lots. And I kind of felt off. Like it was exam season and I just fell off. I was studying for so many exams and I had taken a whole bunch of summer classes. So I took summer classes and I was just so busy. I think it might have also been the year I went to go visit my sister. My sister lives in a different province than I do. So I think I went to go visit her and just enjoy like procrastinating and doing nothing for like a good week and a half. I didn't work out. I didn't do anything for almost the entire summer. Like it was a whole thing. I just kind of fell out of it. And so I decided like school is starting again. I think it was the day before school started. School starting again tomorrow. I'm going to get back on the routine. Like it's fall, it's beginning of September. I'm getting back in my routine. I'm going to start working out again. I'm going to, have everything structured. So I sat up the night before and I made my routine and I blocked out my schedule and I color coded all of the times and I added in my workout days. Like it was like 3 or 4 days a week. And I had set aside an hour to actually like working out and getting back into shape. So of course I think school started on the Thursday. So it was Wednesday and I had a workout and I did a leg day, right? Which comes into play later. So it was so funny. So I went and I started, I worked out and I felt so good because it had been months, like entire months since I had worked out. So I was feeling great about it. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't even feel like I pushed myself that hard. Like my body just bounced back into it. And this is going to be great. School starts tomorrow. Let me pack my things, put them beside the front door. This is going to be so easy. Well, let me tell you, the university that I went to, was a very, very old university. This old buildings. It was like built in the olden days. And so my very first class, I had a French class, which I took French for my arts, because I went to immersion when I was a kid. So I already knew French and I was like, if I need this arts credit, why am I going to work harder? I'm going to work smarter. I'm just going to take French for my arts. I already speak French. It's awesome. So I'm ready. I have my favorite, one of my favorite professors. I have her again for French 2 this year. So I'm taking it. So first day of class, get out, next morning, wake up. I'm stiff from leg day, but I was like, you know what? It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Get ready, go to class, arrive at the university. And it is in the cheer building on like the 4th floor. And I'm like, all right. And then I get to class and I start walking up the steps. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I did not realize how much pain my legs were going to be in the day after going back into working out. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And this is an old building. And there is a elevator, but it's all the way on the other side of the building. And it's like, it's in the like adjacent building. And so you have to like go into the elevator and like go through tunnels. You can use an elevator, but I'm like, it's so much farther to take the elevator for me than to just go up these 4 flights of stairs because my class is right beside them. So I'm working my way up the stairs, and it was so painful because I had not worked out in so long. So if you are not accustomed to working out, it probably is better to start slowly and work your way up instead of just jumping right back into like an I wouldn't say advanced, like moderately advanced program where you're doing all of these burpees and these leg days and everything like that. Because let me tell you, that first day back at school, I was crying. And then about halfway through class, I started getting anxiety about having to go back down into the basement because my next class was like across campus, and I usually went through the tunnels because of the cold in order to get from class to class because yeah, it was not a great hour first climbing up the 4 flights of the stairs and then having to climb down 5 flights because now I'm going into the basement to go through the tunnel to try and get across campus to try and get to my next class. So yeah, no good deed unpunished. Is that the moral of the story? Anyways, let long enough story time. Let's jump back into the article. I have no direction or vision. We've all had these questions before. So what are you planning on doing with your life? What do you want to do when you grow up? Or what do you want to be when you grow up? When exactly are you going to graduate from university? What are you going to do after that? Some people seem to have it all figured out, like they know exactly who they are and what they want to be. This is not always the case. Some people are just late bloomers. They don't find out until they're well into their careers. Others find out while they're away at college or university. Some people even change their majors several times. There is no right or wrong answer in finding your destination. It's okay to not have an ultimate vision and the exact steps you want to take and the exact steps you want to take to get there. However, having clear short-term goals is essential to making progress in life. You may not know what you want to do as a career, but you do know you want to pass this course. Don't let being overwhelmed by the long-term success inhibit you from Don't let being overwhelmed by the idea of long-term success inhibit you from making short-term progress. Making goals, tracking them, and achieving them is vital for measured success. Having clearly defined targets for your week, month, semester, and year is crucial. These can be as simple as improving your GPA, completing specific courses, or even personal goals like getting your driver's license. Depending on your actual schedule, a monthly goal can be something like acing a test, while weekly goals can be completing all of your notes and homework. Simple goals like these are baby steps towards finding and achieving an ultimate goal. Alternatively, if your goal this year is to finally decide what you want to be, perhaps you can enroll in different courses that interest you. Thinking about being a doctor? Take a biology course. A lawyer? Take something in law or criminology. Experimenting with different classes while you're at university is a great way to explore various opportunities without fully committing to a specific path for the rest of your life. This way, you will be able to see if you're taking a liking to the material before you wake up in your 40s and realize it's not for you. Experimenting with different things was one of my favorite parts of university. I really loved being able to go in and try different classes, and I really kind of put my all into that. So when you're taking university, when you're getting your course, you do have to try different things. Like I said, even though I was a science major, I was in the science program, I still had to take an arts class and a writing class. And so for arts, I went and I took French, but in some of the other classes that I had to take, I enjoyed taking things that were as far as possible away from my major just to see. So for example, even though I was doing science, I was kind of teetering between physics and biology on which one I wanted to major in. I did take sociology because I wanted to learn a little bit more. And that is kind of the precursor to criminology, because when I was younger, I did imagine being a lawyer. So I loved sociology, and I actually got offered a position in the criminology um, faculty, or not faculty, in the criminology program, because I was so great at at sociology. I didn't switch programs, but it was just eye-opening about how much I enjoyed the subject matter. And I did consider changing at one point. I also considered changing at one point to math because I genuinely loved calculus. I loved it. It was very fun for me. And I always hated math in school. And even I wanted to try and sidestep taking calculus by taking statistics instead. And statistics I was not crazy about, but calculus, loved it, like loved every second of it. So you never know what you're going to fall in love with. And there have been classes that I did take that I thought I was going to love, like philosophy. I thought I was going to love philosophy. Did not. Did not. But it's a great opportunity to take these other classes and kind of see if they resonate with you and see if it's something that you would be interested in taking. So, take the time to take a couple of classes in areas that you might not have originally thought were you, or that you have always been interested in or always been curious about, and kind of see what happens from there. I'm afraid I will fail. Sometimes we have dreams so big that they scare us. Sometimes we have dreams that are so big they scare us. If this is you, the fear of not achieving an incredible dream can be paralyzing. If you don't start, you can't fail. At the same time, if you don't start, you can't succeed. You deserve to be able to achieve anything that you set your mind to. You can do it with the right strategy and proper implementation. There are so many out there who have built empires out of nothing. These come-ups have proven that anything is possible, but you have to start. You have to put one foot in front of the other. This fear can be crippling, and it hits all of us. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Stick to your plan and do what it is you're afraid of. Remember, you are full of potential, and the only thing between you and achieving your dreams is getting started. Procrastination happens to all of us, and it happens for a variety of reasons. It's vital that you are not too hard on yourself when it comes to self-doubt, second guessing, and lack of confidence, or the ability to make a decision. These are all problems with simple solutions. When you're deep in procrastination mode and laying in bed, not doing anything you need to do, you might not appreciate me saying, just start. But ultimately, it's really just a matter of starting. Many people will argue that one of the entries should have been a lack of self-discipline, but I really don't believe that. Even the most disciplined students and people in general will find themselves procrastinating. It's human to procrastinate, second guessing yourself, or even doubt. It's human to procrastinate, second guess yourself, or even be filled with self-doubt. The cure for procrastination is motivation. Think about what motivates you. What do you aspire to? Now, go out and get it. The best motivation is seeing results, and the first step in seeing results is to just get started. Do away with the negative self-talk and be kind to yourself. Repeat some positive affirmation when it's too hard to do that. Remember, you are full of potential. The only thing between you and achieving your dream is to get started. So don't forget to head down into the description and pick up that free study planner. It's going to help you track all of your tasks, break them down into simple steps, and tracking these. Don't forget to pick up your free study planner. It will help you keep track of all of your tasks by breaking them down into simple steps. Tracking these tasks will help you to increase your productivity, generating the motivation you need to keep up with your workload. So if you need that, make sure to head down and make sure to go and download it. Otherwise, I am going to leave it here. Please feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. We talk about these study tips, organizational hacks, and homework help every week. We do goal setting live streams every Friday. So you can check out the website for a lineup of upcoming events. Next week we are off because it is the Christmas holidays, so I will not be here. But again, check out the events page for the list of events coming up in January. I am available on all of my socials, so do head down into the description and check them out. And all of the graphics that you've seen on the thing will be on my Instagram as well. Okay, that is it. Happy holidays to all of you. And I'm going to head out of here. Bye-bye.